Northern Ireland Alternative Timeline, Season 3, Episode 3, The Debate. Hello, I'd like to welcome you all to the debate. The debate which shall be recorded and it shall be published onto the YouTube channel. It will also be shown on the BBC. Anyway, so we get to the debate to begin. The proposal side is to propose the motion that the rents should change. There should be new rent caps and new rent laws. And proposing that motion is the Peace Party, and opposing it is the other party. So, hello and welcome to the debate. So, we kick it off with the Peace Party. So, what exactly are your first opening points? Well, first of all, I'd like to say I don't particularly like debates. What? Sorry, that's not really to do with the debate. No. What I'm trying to say is, debates are, in a way, an issue because basically they're a way of convincing people, but that's the good thing about them. The bad thing about them is that people can articulate themselves wrong. So I apologize if I articulate myself incorrectly. What I'm trying to say is I haven't really done many of these, but what I'm trying to say is that what I'm proposing is the introduction of a brand new set of rules. These rules will be like, I guess you could say they're one of the strictest rules in the United Kingdom. What these rules would mean that basically what we'd be allowed to do would be limited. What people would be allowed to do would be limited. Basically, let's say I own a house, and then I decide to build a new one. Because I want to move into a new one because, I've said that I want a nicer one. So I put this one up on the rental market. Instead of selling it myself, I put it on the rental market, and there it's available to rent. And what happens, someone comes along and says, okay, so how much did you pay for it? Blah, blah, blah. Obviously, that's not what they actually ask. But let's say I paid for it for, let's say, 200 grand. And I say, okay, here you go, down the table, that'll be £1,000 each month. £1,000 each month. Within 200 months, that house is paid for itself. You, yourself, have done nothing at all. You've just gone to the bank and gotten a loan. Now, if that was a business, I mean, you could argue, okay, well, that's fine, you're building houses, but surely, for example, and obviously this is not the issue, but, you could argue maybe the bank should be allowing more people to rent, take out loans, but obviously that could cause other issues, which is actually still caused by people building houses in the first place. If I build a house, it doesn't matter if I build it or somebody else builds it. At the end of the day, who's paying the money back? Not me. It's the person renting it. It is. And that's my point. Because let's say I build this house away and someone's renting it away, and that you understand that if I am able to essentially write off a mortgage at no cost to me at all, for just 200 months. 200 months. Like, can you comprehend what short a space of time that really is? Like, people think of it like, oh, well, that actually is quite long. No, it's really not. I mean, just do a bit of simple stuff. Like, if you think about it like this, would you, if someone said to you, would you actually do this? Because I don't think you would. I don't think you would, because that is just, that is just 16 years. 16 years takes for someone to write off that mortgage. And then what happens if the rent rises? And that's the issue. Because why exactly should someone be forcing people to pay exorbitant mortgages just because they think they can force people into it, because they know they can get a better deal if it's for a shorter period of time? So that's why we'll be introducing a new rental cap system. We want to introduce a system whereby you can't have prices for your rent that are 10%. Sorry, it can't be over 0.4% of the original price of the property. By the way, that is actually before you counter do the argument by saying, "Oh well, what about inflation?" That is it is corrugated for inflation, so it's not of the actual price of the house when you bought it. It's the price equivalent to inflation. Because we don't want people saying, "Oh well, I bought it during a boom, and so now you have to pay me 50 grand a month." I'm saying is it's about the actual when it comes to inflation and deflation, it's adjusted for that. And by the way, it's not adjusted by an alternative figure. It's not your own suggestion of the value. It's the actual the actual price that people will be paying, which is set by an independent council we're creating, which are comprised of estate agents and other things. So if you want your house to be revalued, then you have to ask one of them to send out someone, and then the government has to approve your thing. Anyway, we don't really want that sort of thing because we don't want people to con the system. So that's really the new level that we want to choose. We also want to choose a level where you can't have rents over £2,000. So basically, this applies to general residential properties. Basically, what this means is that if you're in Belfast city centre and prices are beginning to go up for houses and apartments there, so it's getting to a place whereby the demand is increasing the place, but the demand for actual housing, the demand for actual buying of housing is not. So the actual price to buy is not increasing, but but the amount of money that you have to spend to rent is, well, in that case, you actually can't increase it beyond that 5%, that 4%, 0.4% level. But you can also not do that. You can't have it over 2,000 for general residential properties. Can I make one point? What exactly do you mean by general residential properties? Well, I mean, properties that are not extravagant. So if you build a massive mansion, we're not saying, you're not allowed to rent out a massive mansion for, over 2,000. Obviously, that would be foolish. That would be a completely pointless thing. And this applies to residential properties, not to commercial properties. We're developing commercial property level, but this is only for residential properties at the moment. So this does not apply to commercial properties. So I want to make that very clear. So just in case you were thinking, well, what about businesses that rent out, industrial things? Are they going to be something that you make a loss? No. This is only for residential buildings. For businesses, there currently is not rules covering that. There are rules, but there aren't. We're not changing any rules. Well, I just have to ask them, why exactly do you want this? I mean, does this help anyone? The money that's required to run the system. How exactly? You're not encouraging rental properties at all. You're crushing the rental system. No, I'm not crushing the rental system. Can I explain something to you? If there are 400 houses available that's on the rental market, that doesn't mean there aren't 500 or 600 or 700 houses that are actually available, that are, free. But there are 400 houses available, or, houses plus apartments available. And someone says, okay, so you want to sell some of them, or sell some of them, rent some of them, and then someone says, well, okay, so we're gonna rent some of them away, and you rent them away. The point is that those houses are available for rent. So if people lose a bit of profit from them, that doesn't matter. They're available for rent. You're not saying you're not allowed to rent them. You're just saying you're not allowed to charge exorbitant rates. Because surely it doesn't make sense that you should be allowed to just reclaim, money that quickly. for something which you didn't really do much, but that you will work for. Well, I don't think that at all. Well, as you know, this is a continued debate. So, it's one of those debates where we ask the general public, and if the general public are voting for either side, then we so if the general public are in favor of the motion, then we stop. Well, fine, yeah, let's take it for a vote then. So, if you could all press your buzzers for whether you're voting for opposing the motion or proposing it. Okay. So it appears that yes, the majority of the public want the motion proposed. So the vote shall go out to the full public in the form of a referendum to change the laws on rent. Hey, how'd you manage that? I mean, I know you had introduced the system yourself, whereby, oh yeah, if you propose the motion, then you have a little discussion beforehand, just in case the public want to change with a few issues in a discussive area. Like a little political show, isn't it? What do you mean? You know, that thing you do, where you talk with voters over the phone and things like that, to improve government policy. But my question is, how exactly did you manage to get that many votes for your side? Well, I'll tell you something. Maybe the next time that you decide to hold a debate, maybe think that, well, don't hold it in an area that is promoted to people who are, renting over exorbitant rates, But this is the centre of exorbitant rates in the entire country. If you want to look for any place there's more exorbitant rates, you won't find it. At least according to our records. So that means you just picked one of the worst places to try and defend exorbitant rates. I'll see you next time, Thank you for listening to this, a Smithco fiction podcast, presented by Smithco, recorded by Smithco, and other things by Smithco. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Northern Ireland's Alternative Timeline, a political show where we look at political things, policies, and other things in an alternative world. If you enjoyed this episode, you can look at other episodes, previous series, or seasons, or other content made by Smithco. You can subscribe to the channel, or just you away. Go ahead. Be informed.